Lord, 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 Lord. When you say these words, this word, Lord, the entire universe shifts because you are opening to the divine communication with the wholeness of love, with the perfection of all creation, with the Mother, the Father, all angels and saints, all beings from all places within the universe that are all the light of God, wanting to serve all of humanity. Lord, Lord, Lord. Sometimes that declaration, Lord, 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 hits a place within the ego that says, I'm not groveling. I'm not going down below someone else or something else to be revered. The grandiosity of the ego has held that lie in place for all the years, all the time that has been used in the name of separation. The idea that it is beneath anyone to bow to the divine is to not have an inkling of their true relationship with love itself. Love is humble. How can you enter love without entering into humility? It's not possible. Because when there is no humility, there is arrogance. And when there is arrogance, there is fantasy, made up, battleground. The belief in the world's rules that have been embedded into the mind is what's being triggered many times. The arrogance of the ego that has convinced all of humanity that you have to win. You have to prove your worth, and that there is a hierarchy of love. It's not called love to the ego, but it is pretending to be love. And where it translates is that love is completely equal. It cannot be that anything in love is less or more than the totality of love. It's not possible. So any time there is a urge to be the knower, the success, the winner, it's always the ego's domain. And it is always eventually returns to pain, because only the equality of love is free of pain, free of suffering. The acceptance of that pure love and the acceptance of the humility that will take you there, which is a natural place. Humility, that place of humility is natural. It is where love exists. How many times, how many lifetimes have you spent trying to prove worth? and believing that it was normal, that it was natural, that it was expected, and yet nothing comes of it. You never become something else in this world because there is nothing else but love. There is only the truth of oneness, and everything else has been just made up. And so the journey of love to love is the journey of humbleness, patience, trust, surrender. There's a place of gratitude that gratitude can touch absolutely everything. You can be grateful that your teeth don't hurt. You can be grateful that you can walk across a room. You can be grateful that what you thought you knew was not true. You can be grateful that time doesn't exist. You can be grateful that what you thought you knew is not the truth. That's what it always comes back to. Gratitude. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. In the power of prayer, there can be an entire journey from beginning of incarnation to the letting go of the body, that every day could be completely devoted and spent in prayer. It is a place that you enter into that is not your world, that is not your story. You step out of your story, out of your world, and into the world of prayer, the mystical world of prayer that transforms, that brings light, that is the healing agent that was offered by the divine. Allow prayer to speak to your heart. Let prayer serve to unlock your willingness to have your life transformed by deeply accepting the gentle journey of remembering love. The purpose of prayer is to release the present from the seeming chains of past illusions and to place the future into the hands of God. Prayer can do so much, can transform, can bring you to new awarenesses. As you use prayers for the first time and express what you truly want, your prayer is received immediately. There is a place within to relax and to accept that your prayer has been received. The moment that you even thought of the prayer, it was received. Before the words are even expressed, God has heard your yes and answered. The power of that transmission has no limitation, except if you are not aware and not participating. The prayer becomes your own reminder of what you have said yes to. The prayers will keep bringing you into a deeper alignment with your true self. What a gift. Every tradition, every spiritual tradition has prayer somewhere in their offerings. Whether you are a seasoned spiritual seeker or just newly exploring spiritual possibilities. These prayers will meet you where you are. With every prayer, love reveals the way of ease and peace, allowing the spirit of love to transform what you alone cannot heal. Prayer is a stepping aside, a letting go, and entering into quiet communion with the power of all love. The power of God is the ultimate plunge. What if you spent the whole day reveling in the awareness and the beauty that you're always taken care of? Prayers are always provided. The time is always provided for your quiet, for your stillness, for your praying. And if you give your time to prayer, your whole relationship with time, past and present and future, changes, because it's held in prayer, and that becomes your comfort, your strength, your humility. The prayer is holding you. You're not holding the prayer. The prayer is holding you. And opening in gratitude that those prayers will always sustain you, always lead you in the right direction, always open doorways and windows for you, always. The divine alchemy of creation is carried in those prayers. And every hymn is a prayer. Same relationship, learning, always having the opportunity to learn. If I sing a hymn, you may believe that when that hymn is being spoken or sung, that you already know the words, you already know the meaning of the prayer. That place of knowing will shut the door for you. It will shut the door to truth. It will shut the door to the depth of love that is still taking you deeper and deeper into ultimate truth. But as soon as you think you know what the words are, what they mean, and that you can feel your mind and your heart close off, it's in a satisfaction mode. The satisfaction of the ego says, I got this. Yeah, I figured out what the meaning is, and now I know it, and now I can put it aside and leave it alone because I'm already there. Except it was just the first rung on the ladder. That's where the awareness came to, was on that first rung of the ladder. And love is waiting for you to continue climbing that ladder of love to return home, going deeper and deeper and deeper into ultimate truth, ultimate love. And all of love is willing to take you through every means possible. In the infinity of space and in the brilliance of the presence of God, I salute all divine beings and ask them to help me remember the truth. I praise all divine beings, dropping to my knees as I give thanks for every teaching and for the resplendent light that shines on the earth plane, and all divine beings, always the master of creation. No infinito do espaço, onde brilha a presença de Deus e dos seres divinos que habitam todos os mundos seus. Verde, azul e branco, rede aguda mai rainha, no resplendor destas matas, Jesus Cristo, bom mestre, ensina. No resplendor destas matas, Jesus Cristo, bom mestre, ensina. A golden compass. Forget every idea of right and wrong any classroom ever taught you. Because an empty heart, a tormented mind, unkindness, jealousy, and fear are always the testimony that you have been completely fooled. Refuse the words and turn your back on those words that would imprison your wondrous spirit with deceit and lies. All the knowing of the world, surrender it back. Come, join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed, God is real. I will lead you into the circle with the ones who you can trust for true guidance and who can aid you in this blessed calamity of life. Look at the perfect one at the circle's center. He spins and whirls like a golden compass beyond all that is rational, to show this dear world that everything in existence does point to God. The truth is here. The truth is love. Forget every idea of right and wrong. What would a day be without right and wrong at the center of your belief system? If right and wrong fell away and all that was there was, how can I learn from this moment? How can I learn? Maybe nobody else in the story is learning anything because they're not ready to learn, but you're ready to learn. You're ready to see that every moment is the opportunity of being free of the slavery of the belief of comparisons and differences, right and wrong, good and bad, light and dark, all of it made up by the ego mind to keep everyone a slave of illusion. Do you truly believe that you are the decider of right in the world? And how can you know that something is right or something is wrong, except for what it's for, what its offering is in learning? But there's no right or wrong of it. What if a situation seems to be completely wrong and all of a sudden you surrender that idea of it being wrong and you open to the patience of discovery and truly give the idea of wrong or right into the hands of God, willing for it to be let go and to see from the place of learning that everything is perfect. Everything is perfect in the willingness to learn. Pause and be still a little while and see how far you rise above the world when you release your mind from the chains and let it seek the level where it finds itself at home. Seeking the level where it finds itself at home, rising above the world, out of the mind, out of the situation, out of the story, out of the identity, just letting the stillness take you out of that made up identity and feel for just a moment the openness, the strength that is without past or future. That there is no past or future, nothing to hook on to, just being here in this moment in love with God. With God. Releasing your mind from the chains of what you thought you knew. I asked a question earlier today. What is the answer that you think you know? What is the important answers that you have or that you think you have? Are you willing to surrender all ideas of answers into the hands of God? How can we possibly know what is most helpful for the next moment? How can we know that when we don't yet realize who we are? That is the key. From the place of the yes of your heart and the yes acceptance of the truth of you, all is revealed. But how can the mind stop its constant thinking? Because that constant thinking is like a blockade on truth. The ego definitely wants to be the top dog, wants to be in charge of all knowing. And yet God is calling to let go of the knowing because that knowing is holding you prisoner. Remember always that you are the complete, perfect Spirit of God, and that you actually have the ability to shape change the outside appearance at any time. It isn't who you are. Everyone has taken an identity on the outside that is part of the learning, part of the surrender, part of who are you? What are you if you're not this small identity? And is this identity more than the identities of the past lives, other identities that you've carried? They've all been the same. They look different. All of us have been male, female, possibly animals of some kind, sentient beings that came in different forms so that we could learn in different ways. But it's the acceptance. Pause and be still a little while. It's hard to believe, but if you have one illusion that you cherish and defend against the truth, it truly makes the truth meaningless because it cannot hold your attention and hold you in the truth. So every time you have a hook on an illusion, which only means that it's something that you've already recognized and already accepted as something you know. But all the while, love is asking you to surrender. Come back into the not knowing so that you can truly learn what is beyond all knowing. Opening your vibration to the vibration of love that you truly are, and joining in that vibration with all humanity. What do we and how do we identify ego in the world? There are signposts, if you're willing to look for them. The signposts tell you and ask you, are you at peace? If you're not at peace, it's a guarantee that you're dancing with the ego. And anything that comes with that non-peace, that disturbance, that conflict, that irritation, that worry, all of that will hold you, and you will not come back to love because you're believing in something that has no reality to it. Remembering always that everything about the illusion is pain. It can't be anything else. Now, what does pain have as a weapon? It has satisfaction. It has pride. It has greed. It has excitement. Those all belong to the ego to camouflage that it's really painful. What is it when there is a satisfaction? You have a satisfaction. Maybe you made something and you really are happy with the outcome. But instead of the happiness of the outcome being really surrendered to God to be used for love, the ego grabs it tight. It says, yes, I win. I did this. I am the one who made this. And in that it becomes, it's a high for a minute and a half, and then it goes into this empty place again. Then you need to refill it again and again and again, because the ego's relationship with satisfaction, the ego's relationship with getting, winning, proving, being right, all of it, it gives you a high just like a drug does, and then it's gone, and then you're alone again. There's a beautiful teaching that says you have an empty hole where your heart should be, and you keep trying to fill it with anything but God. That's the other side of this same teaching. Fill it with anything but God means you're trying to fill it with satisfaction, with accomplishment, with recognition, with winning, all of those elements that are not the truth of love. And that's why love keeps calling you back to love, because the divine is completely aware, and in love you will become aware, as I am aware, that all peace and harmony has to come from the truth of love. That is the universal love. There is nothing personal to get in this world because you already are everything that is true. But if the getting, that urge, that addiction to the outside world keeps you panting at the edge, pretty soon you're going to find that there is no satisfaction from that. And the place of peace is the place that you've been longing to come home to. You are the light of God. Forget every idea of right and wrong that every classroom tried to teach you. Every classroom. The classroom started when you incarnated. Every idea of the principle of scarcity was part of the classroom of God. The belief in scarcity and how it played out in the past. You can watch it, you can see it, you can remember it, and all of it not the truth of who you are. All of it made up. And now is the opportunity with the golden compass to let it all go and to realize that all the right and wrong that the classroom tried to teach you ended up with an empty heart, ended up with a tormented mind, and filled with unkindness, jealousy, and fear. That's what the ego lives on. And always the testimony that you have been completely fooled, but now turn everything back. Anything that would imprison your wondrous spirit, and be ready to refuse the deceit and lies of the past. Love is calling you home. And in this one love, all is equal. All is the divine equality. There's no one to compare anything with. There's no competition. There is enough love to fill everything because it's all that absolutely exists. Dive into the truth of love and wear it. Wear it as the strength of God. Wear it as the truth instead of the costume of the past. Come home to the truth. The only way to come home to the truth is by your own volition, your own willingness. When you join with the divine, when you say yes to divine transformation, you are participating. And you must participate because nothing can be thrust upon you. And nothing is about being rescued. The idea of being rescued says, I was just walking along in reincarnation and an entire identity thrust itself on me and I don't know where it came from. Except that as the healing occurs and you go down, down, down into the base of the belief system, you see where the beliefs came from. It came from the pain and the belief that you're separate from God and that scarcity is real and that there isn't enough and that life is a battle and you want to win. But now beginning to realize that there is no winning. You are already everything possible in the truth of love. The fact that you are the divine, that you are the light of God, and that cannot be changed, cannot be altered, that fact is with you for all eternity. But your resistance to it, your refusal to surrender can make you believe that there is no love, and that your rules and your ideas and your identity are good enough. They'll have to do. Don't settle. Don't settle for the lies that were made up as a false identity. Don't settle. Accept God's light and direction in every moment, and rest in the power of God. Rest in the power of love. And let that love speak through you and teach you and direct you in every moment.